Now hit him.
I know. It's like I flew under the radar during all that excitement. It's not like I missed it. My common sense approach that city council.
If you want to, give them to me, then I'll hand them out to you. Yeah. That's fine.
Ken, you can hand these out to Cosmo. Sure. Thank you. That's their, 85%. I was out selling tickets. I couldn't have time for the skate stuff this morning. My excuse? I've been busy.
Yeah.
I've been busy, but I've been busy. What'd you do with your skate stuff this morning?
Back a little bit, but if I break out in coughing spells, you'll understand, right?
Oh, we're getting this.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Guys ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Call the traffic commission meeting to order. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any additions or corrections? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. 2 items of new business. First is Davidson County request to have a 10-foot curb painted yellow on each side of the driveway of their new parking lot located in the 400 block of North Kimball Street. This is just to keep cars back from the edge of the driveway, so it doesn't restrict their vision from the parking lot.
Move to approve. Second.
Second, discussion. Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion is carried. Next, Wilbur Ellis Corn Palace Challenge is requesting the following closures for their event to be held in the Corn Palace on October 3 and 4. The closure of the east portion of the City Hall parking lot from 5 a.m. on Wednesday, October 1st through 5 p.m. on Monday, October 6th, and the entire City Hall parking lot 7 a.m. on Friday, October 3rd through 7 a.m. on Sunday, October 5th. And this is similar to what we've done in past years.
Any issues, do you think, at all?
No, nothing good to work with, but they do need a lot of room out there.
Yeah.
Kids are all set up in the park.
I don't see Jerry's here, but Ken, you don't see any issue with how we're gonna have people coming in and out? For the Corn Palace, we're gonna use both north and south, and I don't know if we've thought about the the rodeo, if that was gonna be the same thing or not, but
I think we can work around it.
I think we're okay.
They still would have access to City Hall and we could even run through there if needed.
Okay. Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anybody else want to comment on this? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign will be adjourned. Next meeting is Monday, September 15th.
Linda, that was one of the shortest traffic meetings in a long time.
It was.
Good job.
I keep looking in the audience for Tara, who's conspicuous by her absence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have someone from Word of Life here for invocation? Apparently not. Roll call, please.
Barrington. Smith.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Jerks.
Here.
Tronis.
Here.
Dozier. Olson.
Here.
Rice.
Here. Having a quorum, we will convene the meeting. Approve the consent agenda items. Items appearing on the consent agenda may be removed by a city council member for discussion at the beginning of the formal agenda items. Anything that anyone wishes to remove from the consent agenda? Anyone in the audience that wishes to have anything removed from the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Roll call vote, please.
Really
Tronis.
quick, Jessica has something that she wanted to talk to us about, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to address the Palace Transit report. Within the Palace Transit report, the miles were incorrect for the cumulative for July of 2013. And I believe those miles were sent out to you earlier. It should have been 135,886, which puts us at a negative of 6,614 miles.
Okay, say that again, now that I've got my page.
The cumulative for July of 13 should have been 135,868, which puts us at a negative of 6,614. So we actually ran less miles this year.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
Savvy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tronis.
Aye.
Barrington. Olson.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Rice.
Aye.
Jerks.
Aye.
Dozier. Allen.
Aye.
Motion carried. Citizens input, if you need to address the mayor and members of the city council on an item that was not on the agenda, please come forward to the podium, state your name and your concern. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Items will be considered, but no action will be taken at this time.
Right after this.
Council, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I think I can keep this to 3 minutes. If not, just push a buzzer. My name is Barbara Hart, and I'm from North Minnesota Street. My husband is Reverend Howard Hart. He's a retired minister. I'm from New York, and he's from Massachusetts. We ended up in Mitchell. We've lived in many different states over the past 50 years. 15 years ago, we retired to Mitchell. Our daughter lives in New Holland, so that was one drawing card for us. But we feel right at home here, and Mitchell has almost everything that we need. One area I think that there is a need is housing for middle-income seniors. Countryside living is very nice, but not always affordable to everyone. They have many amenities, and they have meals and 24-hour staffing, so I'm sure what they pay is worth it. But we're looking for an apartment with 3 things, really: an inside hallway and a community room, central air, and attached garage. There would be no meals here. The community room would be like for having coffee together, playing cards, and so forth. But it would be exclusively for seniors, either 55 or 62 and above. No children with no families with young children, and it would not be assisted living. Everybody would be independent. We have friends in Aberdeen that have this situation. There are 2 units. Each unit has 15 apartments. There's central air, hallway, community room, and attached garage. And if you look at your flyer that I just handed out here, you'll see what I'm talking about, the one with the graph paper. The single garages are at one end. Mailboxes are inside. And this really isn't to scale, but it's kind of a rough idea of it anyway. They pay $925 a month plus electric and TV. Sioux Falls also has a retirement village that we're considering. On the back of your flyer, there's floor plans. On the left there's 1 and 2 bedroom ones. On the right, the floor plan is from Countryside Living. So this is just a couple examples of retirement communities. And I know they have very nice apartments that have been added to Mitchell, but they're not really geared to seniors. And we really hate to move from Mitchell to find the right housing. And we have no idea about how to go about promoting this, so that's why I'm here. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Wild Wayne Edinger from Mitchell. I love this city. And we're going to have a really big show September 13th. We're going to raise money for kids, for scholarships. And we want to raise $45,000. And we're going to fill the Corn Palace at $15 a seat. I think we can do it. If we get the kids on there, out their duffs and get out there and sell them. We have the world's best banjo player. And if you don't like the show, I'll give your money back. We'll have a hootenanny, we'll be a song fest. You have a chance to win $1,000, 5 $1,000 prizes. This motor scooters, I don't ride anymore because I'm too windy, or I mean, I got neuropathy. But I'm excited about South Dakota and Mitchell. It's a very sharing state, Mitchell. And you get a chance to start tonight. Aaron's going to sell you tickets after the meeting. Now, do you have any questions about what we're going to do? We want the kids to get out and move their butts and raise some money. And the kid that raises the most money gets $500. First prize. And every penny, all these items have been paid down here by me. These have been paid. So every dollar that we raise goes directly to the scholarship, to MTI, and to whoever. And Aaron, you come up and tell them the rest. Come on up here. Are you behind me?
I'm right behind
I'll wobble out of your way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. We're off. I won't do that.
Wayne is devoting a lot of his time and finances to make this happen for our students. He wants to raise $45,000. He's doing it by bringing this talented gentleman to Mitchell on September 13th. As he said, we are selling tickets for $15 a seat. We're going to have students go out and sell as much as we can. When they are offered 5 crisp $100 bills, we feel that that could be a great motivator, because money is a motivator for today's youth and anybody else that likes to spend money, myself included. But I don't think I'm eligible for the $500, am I?
Yeah, you will.
Okay. I wouldn't do that. But anyway, we are going to be raffling off a scooter that was donated by Mr. Edinger. We're going to be giving 5 $1,000 prizes to people in attendance at the end of the concert. We are trying to draw in as many people as we can. We have the Mitchell High School Band coming, and in honor of Mr. Edinger, he has asked that this presentation be called A Tribute to America. He's very patriotic, and he believes in America with all of his heart and soul, particularly the farming community. And so, have I said enough? Do I need to say anything more?
I'd like to say no guarantees, you don't know money back.
You will like the concert.
Listen, I'll help out. If the band raises $5,000, I'll give another $5,000 so they can buy their instrument, the drums. I feel generous. I've been blessed, and I want to share my talents, which I got a little cash left over. I believe in sharing.
Tickets can be purchased at the Corn Palace next week sometime. Students will get their tickets next week as well. They're also selling tickets at the county fair and Coburn's. So, any questions?
How many scholarships do you plan on giving out if you raise?
What do you ask?
How many scholarships do we plan on giving out?
We want to have enough for whatever $45,000 will do.
Unless we're gonna keep it in an endowment so that it continues to grow, and
But if
we
you want to
haven't
go
gotten
more
that
than
far yet.
$50, we'll take your money. And every penny of it will go for scholarships, and you can get it every year. And you can be an anonymous donor if you want. I got people coming from Europe, coming out from Hong Kong to this show, so. Yes, it's gonna work, we're gonna have a big deal. We hope to fill the Corn Palace.
That's his goal, his dream,
That's my goal.
so,
Thank you, Wayne.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're leaving you. I'm away, Eric, so I can get out of here. Thank you for your cooperation, and we'll see you at the show. You'll love it. It has a sing-along. The name of the program is Salute to the Century. At the end, we're going to say, God bless America, and have the American the flag on stage.
Perfect.
I'm a patriot.
You get speeding tickets on that?
Is this what?
You get speeding tickets on that?
It only goes 6. I do run into people once in a while, but other than that, I can do it. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
I'm glad I'm here to talk to you. I'll go down to Federal Island. Watch out, I'm coming. One away. Thank you very much.
On your desk, there's a little map that shows a picture of the arena for the Corn Palace. The green area shows the existing bathroom corridors that are both on the north and the south side of the Corn Palace. During Corn Palace week, for all of the events that we're having inside, the contractor is going to build like a half wall that would be in that blue area, but it would be the area that borders up against that hatched-in area. So when people are in the arena space, they could go out and have another access, another access to the restrooms. So it'd be a good way to give us a little bit more room in order to go to the restrooms, and then it would give a little bit more open area in between times and stuff like that.
How long will that be able to stay in place? You know, we'll have the Bull Bash, and we're gonna have this.
We're going to see how it works. Right now for this
For
construction.
basketball time, at some point, we're not gonna be able to get there, I'm
Right.
assuming.
During this construction process of where we're at on the project, we're able to make this work, and I need to applaud Muller Lumber for doing this. This is really going to help. We'll just have to see where we're at during the Bull Bash and during basketball season. The biggest issue during probably more basketball season is with so many games and so many events happening at that time, and we're going to have to remove all the tile floor, and then we got to go in and sand and grind it. So that's during a time when it'll be more critical, but we're just going to keep an eye open for this and try to do the best we can. The other thing is we did just complete building a new box office on the south side of the Corn Palace. So we removed it from the gym floor and we built it right on the sidewalk on there. So it should make it a lot better long-term situation for the box office. And then the second item is we had our bid opening for the West End Fishing Bridge this last week. We had 3 bidders. The low bid came in at $1,300,322.08. The next bidder was $1,767,524. So of an extra of $467,201, and the next one was $2,031,459, which was $731,000 above the low bid. Our estimate for the project was $1,419,001.09. So it came in $118,679 below, or 8.4% below what our estimate is. The DOT is running this project. It is an 80-20% funding, so we are responsible for the 20%. And this will go to the DOT on August 28th for their approval, but I don't see no reason why this won't go through. I've had some questions about when do we know the bridge will be taken out. We don't really know that yet, but as contracts get signed and contractors start looking at it, I could possibly see that October, November-ish type. I could see November, try to get everything removed so they could get the silt curtain in and start getting stuff, try to do their concrete work before freeze up. And then build throughout the wintertime. And, completion date is before July 4th, fireworks celebration. So I just want to give you that update on those two items.
Thanks, Terry. Anyone else have anything for public input? Council?
I do. I just wanted to say thank you to Vanderpool for their amazing job at the VFW site. I can't believe how much better that looks, and I just think that they deserve a lot of credit for the speed that they did it. I mean, they finished well in advance of Corn Palace Week, which was our projected timeline, and the day that my husband and I drove by there and saw that beautiful, clean, open space, I think that just really, we owe a debt of gratitude to them for their good work, so.
Anyone else have anything?
Mayor, I was just going to mention that I've seen several off the baseball diamond over the past 12 days, and it's kind of refreshing to hear people from out of town come in and really talk highly about our facility out there. But it isn't all just about the facility; it's the people that put it on. Dusty and his crew just does a fantastic job. That ballpark is just absolutely amazing. And our new addition that we did with the ticket office, that was just basically finished putting asphalt in about the day before the tournament started, thanks to Ken. And so anyway, I just wanted to pass along to Dusty and make sure you spread it around to all of your employees that they just did a fantastic job and representing Mitchell, and it brings a lot of people to town.
Yeah, I echo that. I was going to mention it. I talked to several of the amateur baseball commissioners, and they all commented about the great condition of the facilities that we have. And you talk to the fans, and they prefer having the Mitchell host the tournament. So hopefully it will be something that we can look forward to for many years to come. Anyone else? Now we'll move on. Committee report, traffic.
Traffic Commission met tonight at 7:15 p.m. We had two items of new business. First was a request from Davison County to have a 10-foot curb painted yellow on each side of the driveway of their new parking lot located in the 400 block of North Kimball, and this was approved. Next was a request from the Wilbur Ellis Corn Palace Bull Riding Challenge. They requested the following closures for their event to be held in the Corn Palace on October 3 and 4. First was the closure of the east portion of City Hall parking lot from 5 a.m. on Wednesday, October 1st through 5 p.m. on Monday, October 6th, and the entire City Hall parking lot from 7 a.m. on Friday, October 3rd through 7 a.m. on Sunday, October 5th. And this was approved. And we adjourned about 7:18.
Entertain a motion to approve the committee report.
Move. Second.
Motion second to approve the report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Entertain a motion for the city council to adjourn and sit as the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Motion second, sit as Board of Adjustment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Hearing on the application of Sandtel Communications for a conditional use permit to erect a 190-foot telecommunications tower that exceeds the 100-foot limitation located at 1801 to 1901 block of West Cedar Avenue, legally described as Lot C-1 in the north 340 feet of Lot C in Jones Addition, southeast 1/4 of Section 20, Township 103 North, Range 60, West, City of Mitchell.
Mayor and council members, if I could direct your attention to the unapproved planning commission minutes in the back of your packet, and be on the second page, about halfway through the page, you would see that the planning commission did hold a hearing on this request for a conditional use permit and did unanimously recommend approval of it. You may recall that you saw this plat a couple meetings ago, some time ago when this came before you, but And also, you probably noticed in the planning commission packet, there was a letter from the applicant as well as a photograph of what a tower may look like. We did not receive any written objections, nor did anybody testify in opposition. I see Mr. Wilson is here if you've got more specific questions of the facility.
Just remind us exactly of the location.
Probably the best description is directly south of, what is the name of that business? I just remember. No, not Graphic, the other one. No.
Pepsi?
I just wanted to brain dead all of a sudden. What is it? Mitchell Plastics, that's it. Sorry. Apologize. Mitchell Plastics. Yeah.
Neil, was there any reason why 100-foot limit?
That was just something that's in the zoning code. That was always kind of the threshold that they felt is, anything over that, they wanted to have a discussion about that because of fall down and those types of issues. And my understanding is they're asking for, it's not to exceed 190 feet. I mean, it may be shorter than that, but that would be the maximum that would. Anything over 200 or 200 feet in height actually has to go through the FAA. So that's the number. Then that's a whole nother review process. And plus, as you get closer to an airport, it's not even possible. So
Maybe I could talk to Mr. Wilson.
yes, I'll let him talk. It's his.
Hi. Oh. So, I mean no offense when I say this, but it is not really a very attractive tower. And I'm just wondering if it needs to be located so close to town. Do you have options? Have you looked at other locations?
We have looked at other locations. This one is, we chose for a couple different reasons. One, it was in a relatively desolate part of town as far as buildings, and obviously no residences around. So we wanted to keep away from any other, potential, areas.
It is one of our main entrances to our community, though.
Yep.
It's a main thoroughfare that people are coming through.
Sure. Yep, and there's, there's a couple other towers in that area. Vanderpool had a tower out there. It's sold to another business. Verizon has a tower out there in that same area. We're actually going to be very similar to what the Verizon tower is today.
And it's in close proximity to that?
Yeah, it's at the Holiday Inn parking lot. Or Ramada Inn now, I guess. Yeah, Ramada Inn. No, I think theirs is less than 200 feet. I don't know for sure how tall that one is.
Probably at least that.
130, I would say, somewhere in there.
It's just so tall and big, and, I guess I just wish that it was possible to locate it someplace that was a little more out of town. And I understand that there are others that are there, but if we have an option,
sure,
that would be, in my mind, I would like to see it located where it's not, where people are first coming into town. And, I think that the reason that the original ordinance was that we have a limit of 100 feet is probably because whoever wrote that decided that you want to keep things from breaking up our beautiful skyline and, people being able to look out and
yep,
see the horizon.
yeah. And I think, one of the things that we also, tried to manage was where, where it was already zoned appropriately. There's not a tremendous amount of the transportation and warehouse zoning that we were looking for to get to, in an ideal spot. There's some lower areas that there are, but then we have to build a taller tower. And
so have you purchased this land already?
We are in the final stages of closing it, yes. We've acquired the plat as far as to break out the piece of land that we wanted to purchase.
So if we said no tonight, then what would happen to that? Would you be stuck with a piece of property that you can't use?
Yeah, I mean,
I
we're,
mean, is it that close to being closed?
yeah, I mean, we basically have a signed agreement that we will purchase the land, you know.
Whether the,
I don't remember for sure. Conditional,
rational,
yeah, sure.
can you describe maybe to the council why it's 190? There must be some rationale.
Well, we wanted to basically have the flexibility to go as high as 190. My real feeling is we'll be closer to 160.
But I mean,
Versus 100, okay. So the reason that we have to be over 100 is in order to get the distance that we need out into the rural areas of Mitchell, we have to be up above 100 feet. Ideally, 140 to 150 to reach out. No, this is for fixed wireless, so that's the internet customers that live, you know, within the city of Mitchell and outside of the city. What's that? Yes. Yep, and we've been in, like I said, we've been in, operating in Mitchell with this same service for, close to 15 years. So we've invested a tremendous amount of money into the community, into the area, and we'd like to invest some more, so.
Is that line of sight? Is that yours?
What's that?
A line of sight?
Yes, it's line of sight.
And I agree that you guys have just been fabulous in our community, and I certainly want you to be successful. Where's your current tower located?
We lease tower space from another vendor here in town, but we've outgrown the space that they will allow us to be on, and we need to continue. We want to continue to, you know, maintain what we have, but then grow into additional. I mean, because more and more people want broadband, but we can't provide it to them because we're stuck. We're basically stuck where we're at, and we want to have some flexibility into adding more customers.
Right, and once again, I absolutely want you to be successful. I think for me personally, I would love to see you find a different location that maybe is, I mean, I just feel like there've got to be other places that maybe aren't right, where people are coming into town and there's this huge tower, you know, right there on the skyline. That's my personal preference. So if that were possible, that would be what I would love to see do. So.
Sure.
How tall is the one at Ramada again, Mark?
What's that? I'm sorry.
The Ramada, how tall?
I want to say it's like 130 to.
So it isn't, you don't anticipate it to be much taller, it's gonna be a little bit, 140 to 160. So
Yep.
I guess I've never heard or talked to any type of complaints or discussion of that one's been in for what, over a year now?
I didn't even know there was one there.
And you know what? How tall is KMIT's tower, which is just down the block from this?
You mean out by Vanderpool's building?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Oh, at KMIT Radio, their tower that sits on their property.
I don't know for sure. Yeah. The one that's down on Highway 16, is that the one that you're referring to, or?
Right on Olman,
Okay.
one block off Olman.
I don't think
Right
that one's
next-
over 100 feet.
Not similar, is that similar to the one that's on East 38 here? Right on the other side of the Walker plant? 100 foot?
Ours is, we're proposing will not have guy lines
Oh, really?
like that one does. So we chose the one that we chose because it is less visibly noticeable.
How high is
Those are like, I want to say those are close to 800 or 900 feet. Those are pretty tall, because they have,
That would be the top of them,
yeah,
but the towers would be.
oh, they're 600-700 feet tall.
So here's my, okay, I have one more question. If we're only looking for 140 to 160, then why are we approving this for 190?
Because once if it's approved, then we have to go through the process of doing some formal RFPs to determine what the exact height needs to be. But we didn't want to pay that money out only to have it, you know.
So there's still a chance that it would be 100 or 190?
Yeah, I don't believe it will be myself. I don't think that, I just don't feel that it will. I truly, like I said, I truly think it'll be between 150 or 140 to 160, somewhere in there.
Well, since we've had this conversation, I want you to know why I'll be voting no, and it's not because I don't want you to be successful or get your tower, I just don't like the location, so.
And that's fine. I mean, we only have so many transportation warehousing zones in Mitchell, so that's a limiting factor that we had to go through.
Sure.
I mean, and I understand that's not under your control, but that's something that I had to deal with, so.
Does the FCC have anything to do with your type of broadcast range and things like that?
They don't, the FCC doesn't have, a whole lot of concern about what height we're at. Their concern is what frequencies we operate at. Yep.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Yes.
Have a motion and a second to approve the application for the conditional use permit. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
So noted. Hearing on the application of Dwayne Erickson for a backyard variance of 17 feet versus 25 feet for an addition to his residence located at 714 Mitchell Boulevard, legally described as Lot 11A, Block 7, University Edition, City of Mitchell.
Again, if I direct your attention to the planning commission packet, the second page of the minutes, you would see that the planning commission did hold a hearing on this request as well and has recommended approval of this variance as well. In your planning commission packet, you would see the drawing and showing the kind of the diamond-shaped backyard there against the alley, and that's one of the things that the planning commission took into consideration for the expansion of this.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve the application for Dwayne Erickson for backyard variance. Any further discussion?
The only problem I have with all these variances that we're getting is that we redid the zoning package so that we could eliminate a lot of this, and we seem to be getting a lot of them coming back again. That's the only comment I have.
And to maybe add to that, there is to be a handicap, a hardship to approve the variances, the wording of the zoning code, that there has to demonstrate some hardship before approving. But the Planning and Zoning Commission, for the most part, has approved most of the requests for the variances. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Hearing on the application of Jason and Melissa Sepola for a side yard on a corner variance of 12 feet versus 20 feet and a backyard variance of 14 feet versus 25 feet as required for an addition and for an attached garage located at 700 South Iowa Street, legally described as Lot 16, Block 12, Van Epp, Second Edition, City of Mitchell.
Again, if I direct your attention to the planning commission minutes in the back of your packet, you would see that they did hold a hearing on this request as well and have recommended approval of this variance. This is on a corner lot, and you also have a copy of the drawing that was submitted to the planning commission. Yeah,
Motion to approve.
50-foot lot.
Second. Motion second to approve the application. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Entertain a motion for the Board of Adjustment to adjourn and the City Council to reconvene in regular session.
So moved.
Motion second to reconvene in regular session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Hearing is on the resolution of necessity number 3205 for street assessment for curb and gutter, asphalt paving, concrete sidewalk, valley gutter, fillet sections, engineering, and miscellaneous expenses for the 1600 block of South Minnesota Street.
All right, I'll go ahead and get started. I just lost my network connection, so as we're gearing up for that again, we basically we're going to have 3 separate hearings, but they're all going to be on 3 separate streets in the same development. With any street project, we need, if it is passed, we would need a petition of at least 55% of the cost of the work of the people that are going against it. So here's the development that we'll be talking about today, which is in this hashed-in area that shows phase 1. So we have L.B. Williams School is right up in here. And then, of course, we got Wesleyan, and that this is Norway right here, and then this is Wisconsin here, West Pine Street here, and South Minnesota. This is south of Norway. I'll just load up a Google Earth, and you can see what it looks like on the aerial. As it's loading up, what this resolution will pay for is the curb and gutter, the 3-inch asphalt paving, and handicap ramps, and some engineering fees. What it does not pay for is the water and sewer, storm sewer, and it does not pay for any of the gravel base or any of the subgrade costs. On a typical roadway, street assessments do pay for the gravel work, and if there's any removals that are in there. This developer, he has elected to pay for all the gravel work and getting it ready to go. And the developer is Muller Lumber Company. So we're zooming into Mitchell. Okay, so the development is right here. Phase 1 basically comes from South Minnesota and over and ties in, let's see. Yeah, South Minnesota comes in here and ties into South Wisconsin. So we're building South Minnesota here. We're building Pine Street, 2 blocks of Pine Street, and we're building South Wisconsin in for 1 block.
Is that Mrs. Greenway's house, or was it?
This is Mrs. Greenway's house. Muller Lumber purchased the property, and they have subdivided lots into that phase 1 layout.
That was the Greenway acreage?
Yep, yep.
So, am I correct in assuming that this is the area we're talking about for the wellness center that Dakota West?
No.
No.
Well, you're near
This is
the,
just-
you're
This is-
near it.
Yeah, so it's just west of that. Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with that. This is for the development.
This is
They're
for the
gonna be
development,
putting in.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
clarification.
When you say we're doing, are we contracting somebody to do this work, the paving and that sort of stuff?
We have, if this is approved, we will use our city bid contractor to do the curb and gutter and the asphalt paving. This is where the wellness center is planned for.
So it's just to the west of that.
Just to the west of that. Okay?
If it's approved, the timing for this would be?
The timing, we will, right now, the developer is working with a contractor to get the base ready, and then they will start installing the gravel base. And then we will work with the developer and our contractors and schedule in this work when they have it ready and when it works with their schedule. We got a lot of projects that are open right now, and we're just trying to fit them in as much as we can.
That's the reason for my question, is that because of all the projects we have going right now, I don't see.
This is one of those projects that we knew about, I knew about, but with everything going on, I just hadn't had time to run the resolution. So it was one of them that we knew of a little bit of a heads up on it. And now that, because we didn't know when the water and sewer would get done and things like that, now all the water and sewer is done. Now they're ready to try to get started on some streets. So that is the reason why we're doing the resolution at this time. Okay, so if there's, if anyone wants to come and comment on the area that would be for resolution 3205, which would be the South Minnesota. Go ahead and come up to the podium. So right now, we'll be talking about any comments about South Minnesota on this street.
Yes, my name's Roger Schoenbrand. I live at 711 North West Norway. And what he's talking about right now is just right across our east lot line. And all there right now is a road they've been working on. I could be right or wrong a week or so, but damn near 2 months. And I'm getting assessed for darn near $9,000. I'd like to know why, and what's your formula for figuring the assessments?
What we do is for, as per state law, we figure the assessment on the front footage cost, plus the intersections, go back for 150 feet. So, for this,
Is that your house right there?
that's his house right here. So he's assessed what my bid price is on sidewalk. I mean, not on sidewalk, but on curb and gutter, and the asphalt paving that would be on your side of the street from the center line out to where the curb and gutter.
It'd be
line.
the south side of Norway Street,
Yeah, yeah.
as I said, north.
And this would be all on the west side of the street within your boundary lines of your property.
So did I hear right something about sewer and water?
Sewer and water has already been installed.
We're not
by
getting
the
it.
county. What?
We're not getting it. It
You
didn't
have
come
it-
from to us.
No, and you're not
So who's
paying
that
for any of
benefit
that.
for?
It benefits the developer.
We're paying other people to develop for somebody else, right?
The developer paid for all those costs. The developer paid for all the water and sewer.
Well, I still think that $9,000 is just a little bit steep. We're not getting anything out of it.
I could rerun the numbers, and what you would be billed for would be what the actual numbers are for the curb and gutter and for the asphalt paving.
Because it ain't exactly like I can take it out of my billfold, you know?
Right. And that would be payable through your taxes for 10 years at 8% interest.
I haven't broken that down yet, what that'd be a month, but it'd be pretty hefty. Something ain't right, I know that.
Terry, is Wisconsin and Minnesota been platted for years, or is this a new street?
This was, hasn't been platted for years. This was a plat that you guys approved at a previous council meeting, probably a month or 2 months ago, for this development.
Terry, 55% of the property owners disapprove, then it doesn't go through. How many property owners are there?
In this stretch, there's 2.
Well, it seems to me we're done now.
Correct.
50% don't approve.
No, Mueller owns 3/4 of it, 75% of it, and Roger Schoenbrand owns just 1. If you look on page 66,
But I'm wondering what the law says, because I think the law says if 50% of the property, if you have to have 55% approval, yes?
Of the frontage.
55% of the cost of the
frontage
people.
Or the property owners, because that's a big difference.
Of the front owners, property owners of the frontage.
It's the cost of it. So if the cost of the improvement is more than 55%, then it could get voted out.
Now, there's an alternative way of doing it, is assessing on benefits.
Well, am I gonna get hit up again when they complete that other street coming from the east? Because that lot ties into our back lot too.
You will not. The only street you will be assessed for would be South Minnesota, because that's the only lot that borders the street. There is another lot which is owned by Muller, which is this lot here.
That's Muller's.
Yeah, so here's what Schoenbrand owns this lot. Muller owns this lot, and all of them. They don't, yeah, this one here and these lots here.
But it's property owners. If the property line between Steve and I is right here, he owns the rest of the table, and I just owned it here. We share that frontage. One property owner, one property owner. I don't agree. That's 50%.
Muller owns more property.
Yeah.
That's how it's based off of.
Well, I would be more comfortable if we actually had the law book that said, because before, when we had a situation where there were 4 property owners, 3 of them said we don't want it. And that was it.
Because their share of it was more than 55%.
There's 2 methods of assessment. One is the front footage assessment, which Jerry is describing here, and the other is assessment of benefit, allocation of benefit. The city, I don't know if you've ever done it, it's not impossible.
It's tricky.
But, it gets to be judgment calls on who's benefiting what, But,
well, this gentleman doesn't benefit from another street. He has the access that he needs.
I believe that's his point. But there are 2 methods. One is assignment benefit, and the other is front footage. And on the front footage, it is, 55% is owners of the 55% of the footage. The frontage measured in feet. In other words, if it's 100 feet and somebody has 55 feet of that 100, and he says, I don't want it, he can strike it. He's got 50 feet, he can't because he can't make 55%. You see, that's on the front footage assessment. Now, the alternative is the benefit assessment.
And Mel, the way I'm looking at it too, and correct me if I'm wrong, Terry, this is one project. So we're doing Minnesota, north and south, Wisconsin, north and south, and then it's connecting. So that way, that's the reason why Mullers have the majority of the frontage, is because we're just not looking at the one street. Is that correct, Terry?
Yeah.
You're looking at it as a unified project.
Yes.
Oh.
Is that correct, Terry?
Are you looking at those, all of the resolutions?
We're looking at all these separate.
Oh, we're separate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So show
We did it separate instead of all one, because if you did it all one, it'd be a little bit more trickier. And if you did it all one, there'd be no reason why Muller wouldn't still have the majority.
So can you show us,
I mean, no matter what street you look at, Muller has the majority on all these.
and they,
So they should pay most of
Well, we
that.
have to bring it to a public hearing and stuff like that, so we're
Well,
going through the
I don't
process.
understand that, Terry, because on Minnesota, you got one owner that owns 50% on one side and
They would,
50%
yeah,
on the other.
they would own half and half, but you still need the 55.
Right, so
Yeah.
if he says no, they would not meet the 55 on that
Right.
particular road.
Right.
I
Okay.
thought that's what I said 10 minutes ago.
When, it's all based off cost, so it's based off of cost of what the developer would have, or the property owner.
Frontage, and then I think that Terry alluded to is that intersection costs don't necessarily, they're spread back.
Right. See, on this side, when we're doing South Minnesota, this side, that is actually Dakota Wesleyan, even though that they have the same amount of property, their cost is actually a little bit cheaper, a little bit lower than what Muller's cost is, because Muller's got all the costs of the street intersections that are on their side. So when you look at this, it's not a direct 50-50 cost split. Actually, Muller's cost is higher because they're paying for all the intersections, where on this side, there are no intersections for them to pay for other than this one. Where this side, they're paying for 2 intersections, and intersection costs are spent.
Right, I understand that the cost is gonna be more for,
Yeah.
I see Bob out there, maybe he can come up to the podium here. But the point is, on this particular road, the cost to put the road in, it doesn't matter what it ends up, to vote it in, there has to be 55%, but there's only 2 people voting, and they both have
Right.
50% votes.
On No, it's all
It's
based
like
off
that,
cost.
It's like shares, every foot is a share. Every foot is like one stock share. If you vote, you may be a stock.
I think this would help clarify, Terry. Would you show us number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, what constitutes each of those lots? Lot number 1, not lot number 2, lot number 3, and not lot number 4 on the 1600 block of South Minnesota.
Okay, number 1 is this lot right here. Let's see. Number 1 is this lot right here. Number 2 is this lot.
And
See,
who owns that?
Mueller. This is lot number 2. Okay. No, the one with the blankets is lot 4. That is this lot here, which is Mueller's development. That's Mueller's. Then lot 5 is right here. So the only lot that is non-Mueller is this lot right here.
So there's no way, now I see that there's no way for him to.
Because it's all based off cost.
That's why my cost more than theirs.
No, their combined cost,
Well, but what he's
Is-
saying is he's paying almost $9,000 for his one lot.
but it's based off of length of lot and the cost of what it would take to build it.
Well, I guess I would like to see you calculate it based on benefit, because I think that number's 0. I don't see any benefit to this property owner.
Through the letter I got in the mail, it had 4 of us with no name, just our name. And it gave estimate costs on each lot.
Yeah.
Ours was the highest. I got the letter right in my pocket.
Bob, can you come up to the podium up here and we can ask maybe a couple questions? Do you mind if he comes up to concede the podium for just a couple seconds?
I'm getting tired anyway.
It's real.
Elementary. If you want to look at it.
My presumption is that the gentleman's property line
It's right,
is far left.
right there.
Okay, but north-south would be.
This one, right there.
That's right. Yeah, right away is about 20.
Yeah.
No.
But I don't know how you
My assessment on Minnesota Street is $16,327. And I'm not sure what the other assessment is.
The other one is $8,961.03.
Well, there's also, who's paying number 2 though? Wouldn't that be? you?
What's that?
Bob's playing that.
69, I think you've got a little more than the 16,000.
You got 16 and another 6, so
Another 7.
22,000, 23.
I thought we was talking about what was comparable to his property.
Oh, yeah.
So what this is, and it's unfortunate that it comes in that way, but this is an extension of Minnesota Street. If you want to do the development, we have to extend the street. I guess I put the sewer and water in. He doesn't benefit from the sewer and water, but he will benefit from the storm drain. There will be curb and gutter and street on his side. It'll be easy for him to maintain. It's part of the development. This plat was approved about a year and a half ago. I think it was March of 2013, the plat was approved by the city council. And we had some problems getting the sewer and water in and getting the dirt work done. That's another story. The contractor did the sewer and water last fall. He went to hook it up into Norway Street, and there was an error on the plan by the engineer, so we had to redo it. And so now we're struggling to get this in for the fall. We've already lost about 3 building lots on it. What Terry has prepared is correct. If you look at the law, it's 55%. If, I guess we go by the law, or we do something different. And,
One of the concerns I have, and Mel and Randy, I'm going to go back to your comments, that you may not benefit directly off us, but if you take a look at any corner lot in town, anybody that's on a corner lot, they have access to a road. They can go left or right, but they're on a corner lot. That corner lot, that other street going north to south, doesn't benefit them at all. But somebody paid for it. More likely they paid for it. They put it in. We start picking things here and there, and how many times we've already done this on a corner lot, we're going to have a lot of problems. I think we got to stay with protocol that we've done all the time in the past, and it is what it is. I mean,
I guess I don't recall in my time on the council where we've put in a brand new street and it's impacted a current property owner like this.
You're probably talking sidewalks, Marty.
no.
No, that's been done.
I'm talking for cost though, I mean, when you got a corner lot.
Would the difference be that this house, that his property is developed, in other words, he's got sewer, water, house, garage, driveway, etc., where typically you might have undeveloped property, and then it arguably does benefit because we designed the improvements we designed to conform to whatever property allows.
Well, I have no desire to hold up the development, but I heard earlier that we don't know when this is going to be done, and we're going to put it in the hopper and that kind of thing. So I guess I'd like to hold this over for 2 weeks to give you an opportunity to assess his property according to benefit. Otherwise, I'm voting no tonight. I don't see that this gentleman gets any benefit from this development. He's got a street that he can get out on. The idea that he's going to have to maintain a second street as a guy who lives on a corner, I can tell you that is not a plus. So.
What part of the street does he maintain?
Well, you said that he would be able to maintain.
No, he doesn't maintain it, the city maintains it.
I was just quoting what you said. Perhaps I misunderstood you, or perhaps you misspoke.
I think so.
But I don't see that there's any benefit for this gentleman.
So if that's the case, and that's the way.
Well, I'm just one guy. I mean, maybe people want to put it through, but.
The only thing I'm going to say is if you decide to go by benefit, then you need to come up with with reasons why you did it by benefit, and that has to be in the resolution, or a different way that we approach how this is split out.
Well, I'm fine just voting no then.
Well, doing it by benefit, what it amounts to is taking that $9,000 and spreading it upon the rest of Bob's property that is otherwise assessed. That's all it amounts to.
Say that again, Carl.
Well, if the benefiting property is all Bob's property that bounds on any of these improvements, then you take the $9,000 cost that contributed to that gentleman's lot, where his house is, and spread it on the balance of Bob's property.
And you have to do that with every development that comes through.
Well, I think the law allows an option either way.
You could do it by benefit or by front yard and intersection. But
It's a $9,000 deal, that's what it comes down to.
if you do it by benefit, then you have to have in the resolution of the reasons why you did it by benefit and how the costs are split out.
Which is not very.
I think your comment, Mel, was that you'd like to take a look at what that is at this time, right?
Well, Terry's saying he doesn't know how you would do it.
If we did it by
I'm
benefit.
happy just voting no.
If we did it by benefit, pretty much Mueller would be responsible for all that cost in order to build that street.
Yeah, you just spread it, take $9,000 and divide it up for all the other fees that he's got. Add an assessment.
That other 9 would go on those other 3.
That other 9 would go on those other properties that are benefit.
And I have a hard time, this gentleman obviously had his property before that street was put in place. And so for us to say to a private citizen who's lived in his home for, I don't know how long he's lived there, that now he's responsible for putting in a road next to him, that he will have no benefit for. I really struggle with that as well, so. I agree.
How long was the road plotted, plotted as a road there?
The last year,
Years ago.
yeah, year and a half, 2 years ago.
Was the road, but you said the road was just voted in just recently.
The road, Bob said the plat was approved by you guys about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
And that would include streets?
Yep.
It was approved, Mark.
It had dedicated streets, so it'd be going back to this, pretty much it'd be this plat that would show the roads, the lots, and these would be platted lots that you guys would approve.
And I was always operating, in fact, I think Stephanie will tell you that I called her tonight and said, is this typically the responsibility of the developer? And that was because I kept thinking, certainly we're not going to be charging private people to put in new roads so that there's access to new developments. I was concerned about that, and so I assumed when I was reading through this that all of these were developers that were going to be assessed this, not the private
That's
citizens.
true, but I
Property
don't think
owner.
Bob has a TIF on this, do you, Bob?
Nope.
Bob's doing it himself.
I'm doing it
Most
all
of the ones
myself.
that you've seen that had a TIF, for instance, South Point, that had a TIF going all the way to the Evening Co-op, and Evening Co-op development there, and they paid for it. Bob does not have a TIF.
We're out of the tip business for quite a while.
And obviously, I was wrong because I thought it was a 50-50 split between the property owners, and the property owner didn't want to consolidate.
Hey Terry, how's the Probil development that we've been just putting new streets in out there by Sawgrass and all them? You have a street that runs north to south along with Ullman. The far one back is like 3 blocks in there, and then we're putting a new one in that's going east and west.
Yeah.
Any of those people that are on corner lots, are they paying for that street to be put in?
Well, that's based off the TIF.
That whole-
So the TIF is.
I knew we had a TIF there, I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember how much we.
The
put in
TIF
for all
is
those
paying for all
streets.
that.
All those streets?
Yeah, and we have done, I think the last one we did was the last street we did was a special assessment, and, the corner lots were all done, but it was part of all their development.
Part of they were vacant properties we had to develop.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but that's the way we build streets, is by special assessment, and we typically don't do the benefit. We have had some that the developer has paid for, but that was only one that I know of.
I guess the fact that the only reason that we're putting this road in is so that there can be a development makes me feel like I have a hard time making it be the responsibility of this homeowner.
How long is the homeowner, we can ask him how long he's lived there. Do you know how long he's lived there, Terry?
I don't.
10 years?
About 10 years.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to approve the resolution of necessity of 3205.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 3205. Any further discussion? Have a roll call vote, please.
Olson,
No.
Rice,
Aye.
Tronis,
Aye.
Gosher,
No.
Barrington,
Aye.
Allen,
Aye.
Jarks,
No,
Smith,
No.
You can
4
vote.
yes, 5 no.
Go with you.
Well, I think that we have a precedent set of how we've dealt with these matters in the past, and I certainly can feel for the gentleman and the assessment that he is faced with, but given the circumstances, I think that we would be impeding development if we don't continue to follow on the same track, so I'm going to vote yes. And therefore, the motion is approved, and the resolution is passed. Hearing on resolution of necessity 3206 for street assessment for curb and gutter, asphalt paving, concrete sidewalk, valley gutter, fillet sections, engineering, and miscellaneous expenses for the 1600 block of South Wisconsin Street.
This one here, okay, this is for South Wisconsin. So this is the one we just talked about on this other side. So here's the section. Here's this street right here. This street has been all dug up for water and sewer and storm sewer to be added on. This is pretty much split with two property owners. Does anyone want to comment about this section? Okay, no one wants to comment? We've added, some storm sewer to that area, and when Bob builds some future lots, I'll just go back up to here.
Who did the engineering?
SPN Associates. So they have, yeah. And then I think as part of that, you're doing a holding basin.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
correct.
They're doing a holding basin as part of a future phase, just to help alleviate some of the storm issues that we have in that area.
Move to approve resolution 3206.
Second. A motion second to approve resolution 3206. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Hearing on resolution number 3207 for street assessment for curb and gutter, asphalt paving, concrete sidewalk, valley gutter, fillet sections, engineering, and miscellaneous expenses for the 5 to 600 block of West Pine Street.
This is that bottom south section, which is right here. Mueller owns both sides.
Move to approve 3207.
Second.
Motion second to approve resolution number 3207. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A resolution of necessity of number 3205 for street assessment for curb and gutter, asphalt paving, concrete sidewalk, valley gutter, fillet section, engineering, and miscellaneous expense for the 1600 block of South Minnesota Street.
I thought we.
That's what we already approved.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to.
With the hearing.
The first three were hearings, and then we did resolutions.
Yeah.
Didn't want to-
So the next three, we do not need to,
Oh,
we're done with those?
Ken, before we move on, you got Bob standing here.
Sure.
You guys are doing a fantastic job with Corn Palace.
Oh,
I've
great,
heard a
thank
lot-
you.
A lot of compliments, and obviously, we're a little ahead of schedule because you're able to open up the lobby for us to help us out with Corn Palace. And the rodeo parade and everything that you guys have done is very much appreciated.
Thanks for the comment.
You guys are great when they give the tours on the site too. They really look out for you.
Okay, thank you.
It's always nice to give the money to a local company too.
Resolution 3211, contingency transfer.
Page 72, this is transfer from the contingency fund to culture and recreation for dust control material for Dakota Fest in the amount of $850.
Why is this us and not?
Well, I was contacted regarding the issue, which has been an ongoing issue for years since Dakota Fest has been out there. And the original request that I received was that the city pay 50%, the county pay 30%, and the township pay 20%. And I, like you, questioned why on a county road would the city bear the burden of the dust settlement. I recognize the benefit to the city of Mitchell for having Dakota Fest. All of our motels are filled, our restaurants and convenience stores. So I think that there is some benefit that's received by the city. I didn't quite like the breakdown that they had, and I further stated to him that I thought that Dakota Fest should probably bear some of the cost of the dust issue. the gentleman said, okay, I will contact Dakota Fest, and he came back after visiting with them with a counter proposal of 30% for the city, 30% for Dakota Fest, 20% for the county, 20% for the township. Again, I weighed it, should we do nothing, or, and this seemed like a lot better proposal than the original one, so I agreed to this, and the amount may be a little bit more than what actually will be. They estimated around $2,000 possibly for chemical, so that's how it came about.
How are they controlling the dust? Are they just spraying
Is there just gonna be a water?
Chemical and water,
on the roads?
and the county will provide the equipment and manpower.
What is the township benefit, just out of curiosity?
Well,
That's
that's the township where they wanted the dust settled, so
Okay, yeah,
I guess
I
that's.
was curious more than anything.
Dust doesn't belong to their house.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the resolution 3211 contingency transfer. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Resolution 3212, plat of lots 1 and 2, block 3 of Mitchell Christian Addition to the city of Mitchell.
Mayor and council, you see, basically this is, you may recall, this was the Heart project, the Heart Clinic, Mitchell Christian property. And what this is actually now they are coming back to you with the plat, actually identifying the parcel. You may recall that when you did the conditional use permit, it was basically based off footage. And at the time, they didn't want to go through the platting process until they knew the conditional use was secured. So that's, and the planning commission considered this plat and recommend approval.
Resolution 3212.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve resolution 3212. Any discussion?
When we did the conditional use, didn't we have discussion about making sure the lights and the driveway and snow removal?
I kind of remember, I don't remember
Is
the
that
exact.
appropriate for this resolution, or is that hold true as long as it was in the conditional use? I don't know who I'm asking, I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
I recall the discussion.
Yeah.
It was in the motion that we approved
Got it.
when it got brought up to the planning commission. So
Yeah,
I'm
we have
assuming that all those conditions are still, but I know your point, Steve. because
Just want to make sure. that
I've had
that's-
somebody in the area that has contacted me on this to make for sure that all those are met. One of the residents is out there, so.
Yeah,
There was four, there was, and
I can't remember.
there was 4 or 5, and the last one was recommending a stop light at the bypass.
Right.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
had,
so-
right. and we-
So then they said we wanted it just on record.
Yep.
That the city council voted that way.
So as long as, I guess I just want to make sure that that's
Do you
understood.
think it's still,
I would say, but I guess if you wanted something, I don't know, I'd ask to yield to legal counsel if you wanted something in there saying that subject to the conditions previously approved by, I don't know if that would be appropriate or not.
Yeah, that's what I don't know either.
You know, we wouldn't have to go back and run it, but as previously approved by whatever date that was, or. I think what you're trying to get at.
It's conditional use.
Was that a conditional use?
Yeah, and I can't remember, I think there's like 4 or 5 conditions, and I believe one was, appropriate drainage plan had to be approved prior to the building permit, and I want to say they had to have some type of privacy landscaping, lighting, and then that other one was more of a, like you said, it was more of a statement type.
Yeah, the stoplight.
Yeah, right.
We can recommend it, but we don't control it.
They just felt that it should be in the minutes somewhere, so. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pointed that out at the planning commission.
So I'll yield to council whatever you think is the.
Yes.
well,
Whatever happens, happens, we have no way of controlling it.
Yeah, but the other 4 conditions,
Yeah, the
we do have control of.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's not the beginning of the
I mean, couldn't you just add that verbiage in the, therefore?
Well, really, all we're doing with this is just approving
The plat.
I would guess the conditional use verbiage is still
Still
there
in
and
force.
still on record, right? That's-
Well,
Yeah, okay.
and they haven't secured a building permit yet, so a lot of those things, if I recall correctly, a couple of them were contingent on before they even get the permit.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, so they would have to comply with at least a couple of the conditions prior to even issuing the permit.
You would make sure that they know our discussion.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 3212. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Resolution 3213, a resolution of governing body.
What's the proper grant? And we have to give approval.
Yeah.
Water conservation.
I didn't realize you were the director of forestry.
Oh, yeah.
Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. Yeah, that's just the official job title. Really, all this is request for permission to submit a grant for land and water conservation funding. Like I said, I'm going to target the softball improvements at Cadwell. It's a 50-50. Well, they will fund up to $50,000. Granted, the improvements are more than that, but the other alternative was to, target the playground at Camp Arroyo. They will go up to, 50,000, but only 50%. So that was a $40,000 project. Might as well target a larger project and hopefully get to 50. So.
If that's the case, Dusty, I mean, we were planning on doing one softball complex one year and then coming in next year. Could you put them together? And because was the cost around 45?
No,
Remember?
it's like 180.
Oh, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
Sidewalks,
Oh,
drainage.
Yeah.
So it's just basically a request to
Okay.
be able to submit the grant.
okay. Move to approve resolution 3213.
Second.
Motion second to approve Resolution 3213. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Resolution 3214, reclassify a maintenance 1 position to maintenance 2.
Hello, I'm Billy Kelly, Human Resource Director, and this resolution is, we discussed it at the last council meeting. The Public Safety Department and the Senior Service Department share a custodial position. We were going to submit for a full-time maintenance position when we have the new city hall, or for the new city hall, and that would be incorporated with senior citizens and the public safety building. After the budget hearings last week, or during the budget hearings, we decided that we had just had a staff member resign that Friday, and we had our budget meetings on Tuesday, so we decided that now might be the time to simply reclassify a maintenance 1 position to a maintenance 2 position. The difference between the two is that a maintenance 1 position is basically custodial, and a maintenance 2 position has to have skills such as carpentry, a little bit of electrical, mechanical, whatever skills come with that, but they could do actually building maintenance rather than just building cleaning. And we thought that that would be appropriate at this time, and then we would withdraw our request for the full-time position. Stephanie has done some research too, and I just want to clarify by saying this doesn't mean that when the new city hall is built, we may need to look at some other options, but for right now, we believe that having a maintenance 2 to lead that, those facilities would be a good thing. Stephanie, if you'd like to clarify, she's did a lot of research.
We'll just hear yours. I did provide a staff report to the city council and the mayor on your desk today. Just to review, I'm not going to restate what Billy already stated, but the request that came up during the budget hearings was to add an additional staff, and at this point, we're withdrawing that request, and in turn, we're going to wait and see when the city hall is finished, whether that's a need or not, whether we can realign existing staff to meet the current needs, or look at outsourcing if the need really exists. So in lieu of hiring an additional employee, we're just going to reclassify the existing employee to meet the current needs. You saw in my report that currently the James Valley Christian Center outsources some of their maintenance requirements where they hire someone to come in and do that work for them. We had Jessica pull the numbers and she looked at what the labor costs were, and you can see there out of the total cost of $17,800, they estimated about $1,875 to be from labor. That's not considering the additional work that Lyndon has current staff doing for him versus outsourcing. If those staff weren't available to do those light maintenance at the public safety building, we'd also be outsourcing that out as well. You do have a budget impact statement at the bottom of my report there showing in 2014 it should not be a budget impact due to the position being vacant for 2 months prior to hire. And in 2015, if you were just eliminating the reduction at the James Valley Christian Center, it may be a potential increased budget of $2,478. However, if we had to call anybody in for public safety, then that would negate that increase as well.
And if I could just add also that reclassification usually goes through the union, but because this is a vacant position, and Stephanie brought this to our attention along with Dennis Maloney, because it's a vacant position, we can reclassify the position if you so choose.
Because there isn't currently an employee attached to that position, so it's not covered by the union. You're looking at a vacant position. You would be eliminating the vacant position and instead creating a new one.
Move to approve resolution 3214.
A motion and a second to approve resolution 3214. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Second reading and adoption of ordinance 2489, supplemental appropriations.
Move to put 2489 on second reading.
Second?
Motion second to place ordinance 2489 on second reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion second to adopt ordinance 2489. Roll call vote, please.
Rice,
Aye.
Jarks,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Tronis, Allen,
Aye.
Gosher,
Aye.
Barrington.
Ordinance is approved. First reading of ordinance 2490, an ordinance of the city of Mitchell, South Dakota, rezoning the real property legally described as the west half of Block 1, Morning View addition to the city of Mitchell.
If you take a look at your planning commission minutes, of the unapproved planning commission minutes, you would see that the planning commission did recommend approval of rezoning this property. This is again as part of the DWU's expansion project on the South Norway. This property became available to them subsequent to their last rezoning. And if you go into the planning commission packets on page 16, you would see there's an exhibit there, and it's that lot that's identified as 13, that kind of with the squiggly lines in it. That's the property that we're talking about. Again, this came available to them subsequent to the last more comprehensive rezoning that you did. They wish to rezone this from its current designation as residential to public lands, which is consistent with the property that you just rezoned and the campus. Correct. And to the interstate. Yeah. I see representatives of VW are here more. Did I miss anything? Okay. Move approval of ordinance 2490.
Second. Motion second to approve ordinance 2490. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consider approval of authorized finance officer to create capital project fund 537 for in.
It was the first reading.
That was the first reading.
Yeah.
First time
To create a capital project fund 537 indoor swimming pool. I don't know, Marilyn, do you have any further explanation? This is a step moving forward with the indoor swimming pool to create a fund for that, and I don't know, again, do you have any?
Anytime we create or want to establish a capital project fund, it needs approval by the city council just to authorize the finance officer to set up that fund.
So by adopting this ordinance, what are we saying? We're just saying we're gonna build a swimming pool?
No, we are establishing a fund where we're gonna put dedicated dollars to build a swimming pool. And at some future point, we will decide whether or not we're going to build a swimming pool. And then let's say we decide, we're not gonna build a standalone one. The city council, who was ever on it at that time, could transfer the funds to a new rec center fund, or we could decide, well, we're not gonna build a pool at all, we'll take that money and put it in the city hall or the second phase of the Corn Palace or whatever. But, if we're going to earmark funds for a particular project, we have to do this. Doesn't mean we have to do the project, doesn't mean we have to spend the money, but it does indicate that we're saving for a particular.
All this does is establish the accounting mechanism to handle the.
And the $25,000 is just simply a start, like a, okay, you pay funds.
Yeah.
You can spend it on a preliminary study
Or just leave
The
it in the account.
proposed 25 is for professional services.
So that was my question. Is this money going to have someone design a swimming pool? Is that what this $25,000
Yes.
would be
That's a
earmarked
question
for?
for the mayor.
That's
That
the question.
requires further action by the council also.
But that would be a designing a standalone type pool or whatever. It's not any associated with any project, any other
That's correct.
project that's been discussed.
No, it's only been what's been presented.
Move to approve. This doesn't spend any money, it only makes it available for spending for this purpose.
Second.
Motion second to authorize finance officer to create project fund 537. Any further discussion?
Well, I just want to make clear to the public watching and the media that this is really only the first step. Just by committing this money does not mean we are guaranteeing, a 12-lane Olympic pool on Westlane's property or whatever people would say in the coffee shops. So it's just the opening salvo.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. First reading, ordinance 2491, supplemental appropriation.
And this is for the capital project fund, just established for the indoor swimming pool. And it goes into the capital project fund for professional services in the amount of $25,000.
And the plan would be that at this point, we are going to be sending requests for proposals to the 3 local architects to include what they will charge for their services.
What exactly are we gonna ask you to design? Just the pool itself?
Yes.
I've had a number of people talk to me about the pool project, and the comments sort of break down into 3 categories. One is this feeling that somehow we're closing the rec center the second we open this pool, which I think is inaccurate. I would point out that the pool at the rec center is 45 years old, and at some point, just financially, you'll have to, make a change. That change is not imminent, but at some point you'll have to do that. Then I've had people who are opposed to the project for financial reasons or whatever. And then I have a number of people who are for the project but not the location. And they would suggest that we move forward with a swimming pool, but to put it on city land. And, if we want to go ahead with the joint use agreement with Wesleyan over the new rec center, that's something they'd like, maybe to consider. But since we're paying for the pool, let it go on city land so we don't have the misunderstandings that have occurred in the past over the Dakota Discovery Museum and L.B. Williams, things of that nature. So.
As part of the discussion for the pool, I thought it would be beneficial also that we hold a public forum to allow, I've heard some of the same concerns that you have expressed tonight, and I think that before we move much farther forward, that we need to give people an opportunity to express their opinion. I'm sure most of you have probably had some feedback as well as myself, and but I think that in moving forward, before we get too far down the road, that we do give everyone in the city an opportunity to come forward and express their opinion and concern at a public forum. And I would guess, would leave that up to the council to select a time and a place and a date to hold that. And I would think sooner rather than later would be a good idea.
I think it's an excellent idea to have a public hearing. I'm having a debate with myself at this point. Do you have the hearing before you have a plan? You know, I mean, people may be for a pool, but not for the pool, if you see what I'm saying. You know, maybe they're for 10 lanes and not for 12, or do you get the input and then get the drawing based on that? I guess that would be my question. But, yeah.
I voted no on the first part because I'm having a hard time saying that we should proceed by putting any money toward it until we define what we're going to build. And things of just overall nature of what we're going to build, and I've had a lot of input, requirements that the pool, if the city's going to build it, needs to have 0 entry. Also needs to have kids' play area within the pool. Also needs to have an understanding with Dakota Wesleyan as to who owns the pool. What if the city in the future quits running the pool? What happens to the building? What if Dakota Wesleyan 50, 60 years from now doesn't exist as an education entity anymore? Who owns the pool? I was on the school board when L.B. Williams was done, and when Dr. Christensen and Dr. Vettel left, we sat there with no written document as to who owned the land or gentleman's agreement of, is it $1 a year for 100 years? Is it what happens? What are the insurance aspects? Who's clearing the parking lot? Who actually owns the land under the building? Who owns the building on top of the land? Before I'm going to vote for any money to be spent on anything, I think those things need to be written and decided, and those things don't cost the city anything.
Your lawyers knew all that.
So the other question that I've had is, what are the operational costs? And how much are they, and who's going to pay for them? The mayor said we can build it probably without raising taxes by taking the money from the water bonds once they're paid off, and we just keep paying them on to something else. But we can't add square footage and heat and chemicals and everything else for free. And so that means taxes will go up, or something else has to go down in order to pay for that. Those things can be talked and decided before we decide to spend any money either. And like Mel, I've heard location questions. I guess if we can get the who owns it and whose land's on and who uses it and what the joint use is, and all those things can be done before we say we're going to spend any money.
And Steve, I guess that was the reason I asked the question, is that it was just to set up the fund to design a pool, no locations per se, because again, what I've been hearing is what would surprise me the most of conversations is they don't necessarily go against the pool. They want to take a look at it, but it was a location that was
Really?
out there.
Yep.
And so that's why I wanted to make sure that I knew that it was not for any specific location. I have been on the internet. After this gentleman made his presentation, I'm sorry I don't remember your name. Ryan. No, not you, Ryan. Gentleman. Anyway, everything I can find on indoor pools, competition indoor pools, and the cost to maintain them each year runs between $500,000 and $630,000. And that's what I've been finding on the internet. But I'm sure there's ways around to do it because there's cities that do it. But that's why I'm for developing the fund. I want to find out the additional information before we jump into this. So,
And I fully agree. That's why I suggest that we have a public hearing and allow people, as well as yourselves, to get a feel for what the citizens of Mitchell wish, whether they want to have a pool at all, or whether they want it located at Dakota Wesleyan, or whatever. We have not ignored the maintenance and operational costs as a factor in going forward. at this time, I guess we're not really prepared to state exactly the plan that we're looking at because it hasn't been finalized. But I guess the number that you stated regarding the maintenance costs, we have looked at some of the similar indoor pools at Madison and elsewhere, and we're looking more at a figure of around $75,000 a year for operation and maintenance costs, which is still a significant number, but that has not been included in the cost of the pool at this point.
This was just odd, they have you can Google, cost of indoor competition pool, and then go by location of the country, and they have, that's right on the information.
Ken, I've got one question. I've got people ask me, is this a 25-meter pool or a 50-meter pool?
25 meters.
25, okay.
Yeah.
Right. That does make a...
Dusty, you were holding up your hand. Steve, I don't know if you're on the school.
That's why I wanted to.
When we closed the middle school.
Yep. No.
Because I asked one of the school board members what it cost then, and they said it was $100,000 a
Yeah,
year.
they're kind of close to
maybe an old, outdated
close to
system.
$90,000 a year to keep the middle school full. And that was, there was agreement between the MAC, the city, and the school at $30,000 each, approximately what it was.
But I will add, the conversations I've had, I've heard a lot of people very much in favor of this project.
The city and our location and things that are going on, to have a pool that we can draw other people that are trying to swim in South Dakota, it's the same concept and reason that I think the ice arena is gonna go. But the thing that, the bugaboo that gets me is the cost that I saw, and I didn't see any at $500,000 and $600,000, but I saw $250,000 and $300,000 a year to maintain a pool. And where's that money gonna come from? That's the part that I gotta get over. But for the record, it's a 25-meter pool, 10 lanes or 8.
It's yard, it's 25
That hasn't
yards.
been, we haven't designed.
Yeah.
Yards or
That
meters?
was- yeah.
And how many lanes? 25 or 25 yards?
It would be a 25 meter, probably 8 lanes, but as Steve, has talked about zero entry and those type of things, we haven't gotten certainly that far down the road. Whether amenities that might be included in that, we're going to have a budget to follow, and what that will allow, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I think if you look at the pool that I had envisioned. Oh, Ryan Huber. I think if you look at the pool that I had in my mind, and I think what should hopefully provide clarity to everybody that's maybe considering this, and I appreciate the fact that you guys are appropriating, for lack of a better term, $25,000 to at least explore it further, is a 25-yard by a 25-meter. And the reason why that works is that in South Dakota swimming right now, a 25-yard pool is what we swim in for everything, basically from the first meet of the year all the way through the state meet. But there are pools in South Dakota that are 25-meter. And you make, I don't want to say concessions, but you make alterations on time standards across the whole country based on if it's 25 meters by 25 yards. 25 yards is 75 feet. 25 meters is 83 point something, okay? What's that? Yeah, a little over, about 83 feet. When you say a competition-sized pool, that is a wide range, because the Olympics, they swim in a 50-meter, and that's exactly what Hitchcock is a 50-meter pool. We're talking about a 25-yard by a 25-meter, so that if USA Swimming or South Dakota Swimming ever dictates you have to be one or the other, guess what? All you do is you drain the pool, you change the lines, and you go the other direction. And that's the nice thing about doing a 25-yard by a 25-meter. If you do the math of a regular 8-foot lane, which is the standard width of a lane, just divide that out by 75 feet of 8 feet per lane, and you'll figure out exactly how many lanes you have. When you're going one direction, you're going to have 8. When you go the other direction, you're going to have 10.
Very good.
To answer your question about the operational expenses, and Dusty will find out the same thing that I found out about a year ago. If you call the Nordby Center in Huron or you call Dakota State in Madison, you're going to find, and they'll send you a spreadsheet if you want it, but they'll send you a spreadsheet that shows that their operational costs are anywhere from about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. No different than Dr. Graves found at the middle school. It's not 500, it's not 250, it's 75 to 90. Huron gets their operational expenses by just the pool only. As you know, their pool is inside the big Nordby Center, so it's got their basketball courts, it's got their racquetball courts, but they break it out for just the pool. DSU or Madison breaks it out with the whole thing combined, so their numbers are a little bit bigger. But what you're going to find when Dusty calls those municipalities, and maybe he'll find others as well to call, but it's somewhere just shy of $100,000.
So Ken, how soon do you think, when you said soon, are you thinking a week, a month? What
For our meeting, you mean?
Yeah,
Well, I
people have input.
don't know that there would be any reason to delay. Since it's been first announced, we've had about a month, so I think people have at least formed questions or concerns, comments that they would like to make. I would think that within the next week or two would be my thought that we should try to schedule a meeting.
So, I'm going to be gone. I was going to say next Monday, but I'm going to be out of town, but maybe you're going to be out 2 days?
For how long? Just the day or?
Just 2 days, Monday and Tuesday I'll be out of town. But, I mean, you get.
What's the Wednesday of that week? A week from Wednesday?
Wednesday the 27th?
Dave, you're going to be gone.
I'm only, wow.
Well, what's everybody else's schedule?
I'm free the 27th.
You're not the 25th?
25th.
You're open that whole week?
Except Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
You'll be on state again. You got some vacation in there.
I'm going to Richmond.
How about the 27th? Does that work for most? Dave will not. Everyone else? 7 in the evening?
Ryan and everybody else, I know there's people that want to talk tonight probably, but if we get everybody all at once, Ed, you're okay?
It is a Wednesday.
I'm glad to see this conversation being held.
Yeah, I had the same concern. Billy is mentioning that that's church night. Is that a concern?
Oh, are they starting?
A lot
All
of
right.
parents will be driving it. I don't know, maybe they haven't started yet. I don't think they started yet. They haven't started yet? My kids are too old, I don't know anymore.
We'll find that out tomorrow and get back to us all. 27th, we can.
We set it for 7 o'clock, Wednesday the 27th in the council chambers. Okay?
I don't think we voted on the money. We have a motion to vote on the money, but I don't think we voted on the money.
We had a motion and a second on the first reading?
I don't think so. I don't remember a motion on the money. No.
There's no motion on the money?
No.
Well, I'm gonna move to approve the money because, by the time we actually have to have second reading, we'll have heard from the public. And so if they want to go forward, we'll go forward, and if they don't, we'll kill it on second reading.
We have a motion and a second to approve first reading of ordinance 2491. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Consider approval of a request to apply for a grant through Leona M. and Harry E. Helmsley Charitable Trust for the acquisition of AEDs, automatic external defibrillators, to be placed in South Dakota communities.
Paul Morris, Assistant Chief for Fire and EMS. If you'll turn to page 85 in your packet, there's a detailed description of what this grant request is all about. In summary, we're requesting to apply for a grant with the Helmsley Foundation Charitable Trust in the amount of $4,836 for the purchase of 4 AEDs and 4 cabinets to store those AEDs in. They'll be placed at public places in the community. We've got listed the county courthouse, the second floor of the county public safety center, one in the ACT Theater building, and 1 AED would go into the new city hall. This is 100% fund from the Helmsley Foundation. There's no cost associated with it to the city. Any cost after that, batteries, patches, those kind of things would be the responsibility of the holder of the AED.
Move to approve.
Can I
Motion
just ask-
second to approve the request to apply for the grant. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just wondered if you could tell us where there are other ones that are located in the community.
And that's why I brought Joe Dozal with me.
Well, we have one at the high school, and they're idiot-proof. I mean, they tell you exactly what to do and how to do it.
This,
There's one right there on the wall.
this is Joe Dozal, one of our firefighter paramedics. He's been probably the key instrumental person in placing AEDs throughout the community.
I couldn't tell you exactly where all of them are. I quit counting a while back, and there was 85 of them in the community, and there's a lot more since then, because people just buy them themselves, some of the clinics and businesses and things like that, the grocery stores, but all the city public buildings have AEDs, and then a couple of the non-public buildings. The 4-H grounds has an AED. There is one in the public safety building right now, the county public safety building, but it's downstairs, and there's too many locked doors there, and when they have court upstairs, they're concerned about that. The sheriff's office, correct. As for the rest of them, some of the businesses have bought them. I teach CPR every month, and people come to me and ask me about them, where they can get them. Are there any grants? Grants haven't been available for a long time for them, and this one popped up, so we thought we'd apply for it. So.
Great. Thank you very much. I only asked because one of our local current now doctors in residency, John Christensen, did a research project in his medical school years, and he placed a bunch of these in the community of Vermillion, and at that point, I don't think Vermillion had nearly, that's why I was curious, because we're very well stocked. It didn't sound like Vermillion had quite as many, and I was just curious where we were, but that's great that we're doing.
One question. I was a paramedic for 8 years, and I firmly believe in AEDs, but an AED is only good as long as it's maintained. It's a high-energy device. Who tests these and monitors that they're still functional after they're installed?
Yeah, high voltage.
Yes, you charge a capacitor to 5,000 volts, in essence, and those capacitors break down and the batteries go bad, and it's a great idea, but we had to test them every day. We had to recharge the batteries every week. I see the one at the rec center, and I don't know how much maintenance. The glue can get frayed in the pads. So I was just wondering who's monitoring that all these AEDs are being maintained
Sure.
in a manner that keeps them functional.
Yep. I think Mel said it the best. They're foolproof. I mean, they're very simple to operate. There's only one thing to check on it, and that's basically the battery. Actually, back up, 2 things to check on it. The patches, you have to make sure that they're not out of date, and then there's a battery indicator on the front. And those batteries, correct me if I'm wrong, are good for about 2 to 3 years. And it's going to be the responsibility of wherever these are at. The maintenance person's going to have to check that monthly or bi-weekly, whatever they want to do.
So the fire department, so public safety does not check it?
No, no.
They call us and ask us questions, and then we give them a good.
Yeah. Just waiting to vote.
Because I had to use one and the adhesive had gone out. On
Sure.
the pads,
Yep.
and others holding them on there, which I wouldn't do.
Not recommended. Not recommended. They make those that they implant right in your chest. Yeah. You don't want one. You don't want one.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request to apply for a grant. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Had a letter from the governor to place a historic marker of former Governor Carl Gunderson in his hometown in the amount of $3,000. As you can see, there is a letter enclosed in your packet, and you might note that the governor and I are on a first-name basis. But as you can see, the second to the last paragraph there, if you like the idea, would you please pass it along to a local organization, group, business, or person who might be willing to sponsor the $3,000 marker. I'm not necessarily suggesting that the city do it. Getting the word out now via the council meeting, if there are any civic or fraternal organizations or anyone who might wish to donate all or part, a portion of this. But I guess I also would ask the city, depending on the outcome of that, whether or not we want to donate any money towards this marker. Apparently, Governor Gunderson was a resident of the city of Mitchell at some point in time, and $3,000.
Do you know where his home was?
No, I don't.
It's on the national register.
Because it sounds like it's still standing,
Yeah.
the way this
Well,
letter is
that's
written.
Dr. Lyle,
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Well, I don't know what we're approving.
I approved the $3,000.
This is not an appropriation at this point.
It is.
I would say that we move to request possibly citizens, service clubs, if they would like to donate, and we would be the collector of those funds. So is that okay, Danny?
That's fine. Maybe have the mayor write them a letter and ask them if they would consider.
Yeah, and then in the meantime, we'll get some information of what years and where the house is.
Well, but you know, if we're gonna do this, I don't think we should put it in front of the house. I think it should go right over here. I mean, I would hate to be the person.
You're probably right.
I would hate to be the person
Yes.
who had that house,
Yeah.
and then, you know,
Yeah.
people were directed to my home, standing in the yard or whatever, and have that put in the yard. I mean, he lived in Mitchell, and you could maybe put it on the plaque what the address was or something, people wanted to drive by, but I'd be just sick if city crews showed up in my front yard tomorrow and started putting up a marker.
And you want to put it somewhere where it's very visible too.
Ken, when did I have front yard with back?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't know any more than what the letter indicates, so.
Now you can mow around it.
Yeah. Well, we have a motion and a second to, I guess, research into this, get the word out, and consider the placement of it at a later date. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consider approval of raffle permit for Sam Tronis Memorial Foundation Pro Hockey Celebrity Hunt with a drawing to be held on November 14th and 15th, 2014.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve the raffle permit. Any further discussion?
One point, Dave and I told us, I'm on this foundation, and obviously Dave is too, and we're hoping that we have a room full of people when we kind of get some free advertising here, but we do host, this is our 5th annual, we host pro hockey pheasant hunt, that the majority of our funds that we raise, and then we turn around and we give scholarships out, and we also send money to different associations in South Dakota to promote youth hockey. So we're kind of on both spectrums. And within the last 4 years, we have given out over 80 scholarships of about $115,000. And for Mitchell, it's really cool because we host it here, and we bring several people that come in for this event. And it's the only one of its kind in the United States, as near as we know. We partner up with USA Hockey, and it's a nice event. And
Professional hockey players that come in.
former. Former. We've had, well, I don't think. Yeah. But we have had, we've had 3, how many Miracle on Ice guys that we've had here? From the 1980 team, we've had other individuals that have won Stanley Cup, and other individuals. In fact, we had the doctor on Miracle of Ice, if you remember the animated doctor. He came one year and he's 92 or something like that.
He was out in the field.
Yeah, he come up. But anyway, just wanted to know, that's coming up on November 14th and 15th, and so hopefully we'll continue to get more additional support, and it's a good event for Mitchell.
Yes.
We haven't voted, but we have a motion.
We have a motion second to approve the raffle permit. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Abstain.
And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
The move.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.